this offseason, we will see quite a few recognizable names from under center moving on from their current squads.
Where do you think would be a good fit for Malik Willis?
I think it's the Arizona Cardinals.
So today, we're breaking down 10 quarterbacks who will definitely be suiting up for a new team in 2026. And we're predicting exactly where they'll land. Malik Willis, QB, Green Bay Packers. Malik Willis was a third-round bust in Tennessee, but then Green Bay came a-calling, and everything changed. And in 2 years backing up Jordan Love, Willis transformed. And this past year, he looked even better than Love, if we're being honest. He completed 85.7% of his passes through 3 touchdowns with 0 interceptions, added 422 passing yards and 123 rushing yards with 2 scores on the ground. Those numbers are absolutely absurd for a guy who looked like a bust just 2 years ago. So look for a team that wants to take a gamble on a potential long-time starter to roll the dice on Willis. Arizona, where Mike LaFleur just landed, could make a lot of sense, especially considering the success that Willis found with his brother in Green Bay. Geno Smith, Las Vegas Raiders. Yeesh, what a difference a year makes. In March 2025, the Raiders traded a third-round pick for Geno Smith and signed him to a 2-year, $75 million extension. They reunited him with Pete Carroll, who adored Smith in Seattle. This was supposed to stabilize the most volatile quarterback situation in football. Instead, the Raiders went 3-14. Smith threw a league-high 17 interceptions. Carroll got fired after 1 season, and now Las Vegas holds the first overall pick, which everyone knows will be used on Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza. It'll be tough for Geno to find a starting gig after the season he just had, but I wouldn't be shocked to see a team looking for a plus-level back to sign him. Washington could be interesting if they're not able to retain Mariota. Mac Jones, San Francisco 49ers. Because Mac Jones absolutely crushed it in 2025, and his value hasn't been this high since he was taken near the top of the draft by New England way back when. So when Brock Purdy went down with that toe injury, Jones stepped up and went 5-3 as a starter with a career-best 69.6% completion percentage, 2,151 yards, and 13 touchdowns against just 6 picks. And with so many quarterback-needy teams out there, someone's going to make the Niners an offer that they can't refuse. The Steelers make the most sense. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't return, well, Mike McCarthy needs a competent veteran, and Jones proved in San Francisco that he can thrive in the right system. Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins. Tua was supposed to be the franchise, the guy who finally got Miami over the hump, the 5th overall pick in 2020, who the Dolphins built their entire offense around. They gave him Tyreek Hill. They gave him Jalen Waddle. They gave him that massive contract extension worth over $200 million. But Tua just couldn't perform consistently. And with the new regime that has taken over in South Beach, change feels inevitable. The Dolphins benched Tua for the final 3 games of the 2025 season in favor of 7th-round rookie Quinn Ewers. I think that pretty much tells you everything you need to know. The writing is on the wall. GM John Eric Sullivan said the team is getting close to a decision on Tua's future. They are staring down a $56.4 million cap hit in 2026. And if they cut him outright, they would eat $99.2 million in dead cap, the largest dead cap hit in NFL history. Yikes. So the Dolphins are hoping to trade him. The Browns make a lot of sense here. Cleveland has been cycling through quarterbacks since the Watson disaster began. Tua could be the bridge that they need. Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis Colts. Alright, let's talk about the guy everyone has already forgotten. Anthony Richardson, the 4th overall pick in 2023, one of the biggest disappointments in recent memory. So, look at this timeline. In 2025, Richardson lost the starting job to Daniel Jones in training camp. Then, in October, he suffered a freak orbital fracture when an elastic band snapped and hit his eye during pre-game warm-ups. He was placed on IR and never came back, even after Jones got hurt. The Colts aren't picking up his 5th-year option. That is basically confirmed at this point. So I mean, why not Miami as a potential landing spot? Richardson would join an offense led by a superstar wide receiver Jalen Waddle and Pro Bowl running back Devon Achane. Miami's offense is built around speed, and a dual-threat QB like Richardson could have his potential fulfilled in this offense. Kyler Murray, QB, Arizona Cardinals. Remember when Kyler Murray was the future of the Arizona Cardinals? 1st overall pick in 2019, offensive rookie of the year, 2-time Pro Bowler, the guy who is supposed to turn the desert into a contender for years to come. Yeah, that feels like a lifetime ago now. Murray played just 5 games in 2025 before suffering a midfoot sprain against the Titans in Week 5. he has not taken a snap since October 5th. Arizona finished with a brutal 3-14 record, their second straight season with double-digit losses. And at this point, the Cardinals are ready to start over. Murray still has talent though. He's an electric playmaker when healthy. The question is whether any team is willing to take on that contract and that injury history. The ACL tear in 2022, the hamstring issues, now the foot. It's just a lot. The New York Jets, holders of the number 2 pick, got screwed when Oregon QB Dante Moore announced that he was returning to college. ESPN's Bill Barnwell suggested the Jets acquire Kyler Murray and a 6th-round pick from Arizona for the bargain price of a 2026 4th-round pick. Sometimes an underperforming QB just needs time to find his niche. Kirk Cousins, Atlanta Falcons. Well, this one ended about as badly as it possibly could have. Kirk Cousins signed the massive 4-year, $180 million deal with Atlanta back in 2024. And now, the Falcons are expected to release him before the new league year begins on March 11th. The contract restructure in January kinda says it all. Atlanta converted his 2026 base salary from $35 million down to just $2.1 million, and moved the rest to a fictional $67.9 million number in 2027 that vests on March 13th. Classic NFL cap gymnastics. But you know, if Kirk wants to play, what about a reunion with the Vikings? Regardless of what option he goes with, this will be an interesting one to follow. Marcus Mariota, Washington Commanders. Marcus Mariota just cannot quit the NFL, no matter how many times he fails trying to secure a starting job. The former 2nd overall pick returned to Washington on a 1-year, $8 million deal in 2025 to back up Jaden Daniels. When Daniels went down in Week 14, Mariota stepped in and he did fine. Not spectacular, but fine. At 32, Mariota is still a viable backup option. He can move, he knows multiple systems, and he has that been-there-done-that veteran presence that teams value. But anyone who knows the dual-threat quarterback knows that he still thinks he has what it takes to deliver as a starter in the NFL. If he really wants a chance to start for real, well, he'll have to look elsewhere, and he knows it. The other squad that could make a ton of sense here is the Raiders. They're expected to select a quarterback in the draft, but Mariota could serve as a bridge for him. And he would get the chance to start meaningful games that he's after. Justin Fields, New York Jets. The Jets' experiment with Justin Fields might be one of the worst free agent signings in recent memory. They gave him 2 years, $40 million, with $30 million being guaranteed. What did they get in return? Not much. A 2-7 record as a starter, a benching, and a season that ended on injured reserve with a knee injury that everyone knows was more about the team being done with him than any actual ailment. Fields' time at the Jets is over. The question is just how much dead money they're willing to eat. A pre-June 1st release costs them $22 million in dead cap. Post-June 1st spreads it out more favorably. But either way, Fields will be looking for work. Here's the thing though, Justin Fields is only 26 years old. He still has that electric athleticism. Someone is going to take a shot. The Cardinals make a lot of sense. They're moving on from Kyler Murray. They've got a new coaching staff with Mike LaFleur coming from the Rams, and Fields' running ability would fit their offense. It would be a prove-it deal, maybe 1 year with incentives, but don't be surprised if Fields finds new life in the desert. Russell Wilson, QB, New York Giants. Russell Wilson is heading into his 3rd consecutive free agency. The guy who was once a perennial MVP candidate, who won a Super Bowl with Seattle, who signed a massive extension with Denver, is now bouncing from team to team on 1-year deals, hoping that someone will give him a chance. Wilson signed with the Giants in 2025 for $10.5 million guaranteed, and oh look! It didn't go well. He completed just 58% of his passes for 831 yards across 6 games, only 3 of which he started. The Giants benched him in favor of rookie Jackson Dart shortly thereafter. Look, at age 37, Russell Wilson is not the same guy who carried Seattle for a decade. The deep ball accuracy has dipped, the mobility is not what it used to be, and the whole let Russ cook thing feels like a distant memory now. Retirement has to be on the table at this point. I mean, how many more 1-year prove-it deals does Wilson want to sign? That said, if anyone was going to try to recapture the magic of days gone past, it feels like Cleveland would be a likely choice. But which quarterback move are you most excited about? What do you think we got right here? What do you think we got wrong? Was there anyone we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.